a tremendous honor. This is something that I've never thought of ever in my life, that anything like this would happen. I just wanted to be a part of harness racing.
Well, I actually started calling races when I was 14 years old, back in 1976. And I grew up in the state of Michigan in the Midwest, and my dad and my grandfather raced standardbreds as a hobby. We always had 3 or 4, and we just clunk around at the cheap county fairs and the small racetracks and that sort of thing. And from the time I was little, I was just fascinated by the announcers. So instead of playing cowboys and Indians when I was a kid, I had little plastic horses with numbers taped on their back and ran them around in a circle and would pretend to announce races. So when I was 10 years old, my family went to the Little Brown Jug, or no, I was 6 actually. The first year we went to the Little Brown Jug in Delaware, Ohio, and I heard Roger Houston announce. He was a legendary announcer in North America, and he was great, and I thought he was the best that I'd ever heard, so I tried to mimic him word for word. And when I was 10, I wrote him a fan letter and told him I wanted to be an announcer, and sent him some tapes of a 10-year-old kid running his little plastic horses around in a circle. And I actually met him at the Little Brown Jug that year, and I kept in touch with him, wrote letters and everything. And when I was 14, in 1976, I went out and stayed with him and his family at the Meadowlands Racetrack in Pennsylvania. He actually hitched a ride to get there, and he let me call qualifying races, and that's how I got started. I worked at tracks in Michigan and Ohio, and I mean, this was just a pipe dream. And in 1998, one of the announcers here at the Meadowlands had laryngitis, and they needed somebody to fill in for a couple weeks, and Stan Bergstein, who's the president of Harness Tracks of America, recommended me. So a guy from the Meadowlands called, and they said, "We've never heard of you, we have no idea who you are, but Stan Bergstein recommended you, so if you want to come out here for a couple weeks and work, we'll hire you." And of course, that was like beyond my wildest dreams. It's like a guy from the CBA getting to play with Michael Jordan in the NBA. It was great.
Welcome back to the paddock level, everyone. One of us is a movie star, and it's not me. We welcome Emilio Estevez to the Meadowlands this evening.
Well, you just never know who you're going to run into at the racetrack. How about President Bill Clinton at the Meadowlands this evening? What brings you out, Bill? I think probably the greatest race I've ever seen, and a lot of people agree it's probably the greatest race in harness history in North America, was the 2008 Meadowlands Pace, where Some Beach Somewhere suffered his only career defeat to Artificial, and that was a race that was just unbelievable. It looked like the last lap of a NASCAR race at Talladega. There were horses all over the place, and it was just a fantastic race.
Some Beach Somewhere leads it by 2. Artificial tips to the outside, trying to get to him. An eighth of a mile away. Some Beach Somewhere under pressure. Artificial up to his wheel on the outside. Some Beach Somewhere full out. Artificial, a desperate lunge on the outside. Artificial, Some Beach Somewhere at the line. Artificial, 147. World record upset in the pace.
Well, I'm kind of a redneck, I guess you would say. My wife and I are huge NASCAR fans. We love to watch NASCAR auto racing, but we get a kick out of that. And we both grew up with race horses and saddle horses, and we've got a few at our place. Our daughters were involved in riding. My wife has a paint show horse that she shows Western pleasure and enjoys, and I've got a retired standardbred that I do some local yokel barrel racing on at pole bending, but I'd about rather ride horses than anything else. And I also like to run. I run quite a bit. You wouldn't know it to look at me, but if I didn't run, I'd weigh 350 pounds. Once you've worked at the Meadowlands, I mean, that's the top echelon. And I've also, because of working here, been able to do television work at the Little Brown Jug, so I'm involved on the fringes in that. And my favorite time of year is Lexington, Kentucky in the fall for the Red Mile Fall Trots, 2 weeks of Grand Circuit racing, and I just love it down there. And that's, like I say, what I look forward to every season.
Always Be Mickey is full out. Shambhala trying to track him down on the outside. All bets off on the far outside. Always Be Mickey pacing home strongly. Shambhala second. Always Be Mickey is heading down to the line. Always Be Mickey in 146! World record!
I've never really thought of personal goals. I just wanted to be able to support myself and my family in this industry. I would have been very happy working at a small track too. And I've just, focused on trying to be a good husband and a good father.
Thank you so much for a great honor. It's just a thrill to be a part of the sport. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.